Hi guys, so I'm starting cellular respiration. I've already talked about photosynthesis and I've gotten into like glycolysis, gluconeogenesis. Now I'm just going to give you an overview of all the processes that happen in cellular respiration and where they happen, and maybe like a brief overview of what they are. Considering there's a lot of things that I haven't really talked about, like oxidative phosphorylation, the ETC cycle, the Krebs cycle. I haven't done all that stuff. And I'll probably just softly touch on them. But okay, cellular respiration, we all know, is the breaking down of glucose when we breathe. Okay? So we have C6H12O6 plus O2 gives you carbon dioxide and water. Oops. Not C2O, it's CO2. Okay. So we have glucose, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water. Okay? This is a process that we use to produce ATP, which is our form of energy. Whereas with plants, their form of energy is glucose, the glucose we start with. Which is why we need to eat our vegetables, because we need our glucose to give us energy. So first of all, cellular respiration starts with glycolysis, which I have a whole video on it, so I'll just give an overview of it. Glycolysis is an anaerobic process which uses 2 ATP in order to produce 4 ATP, giving you an overview, a net amount of ATP being 2. Okay? So you have a net production of 2 ATP. Now it gives you an important molecule as well. It gives you pyruvate, which I also talked about in my video. And I mentioned that pyruvate has 2 places where it can go. It can go into fermentation or it could go into the Krebs cycle. Okay, so I said that we have pyruvate that's also produced. Now pyruvate goes into fermentation or the Krebs cycle, which you guys can go into my other videos to see in more detail. So I'm going to move on to the Krebs cycle, provided that it's an aerobic respiration that's happening, which means you have oxygen available. So this pyruvate goes to the Krebs cycle. Okay? In the Krebs cycle, what happens is pyruvate gets converted into a molecule called acetyl-CoA, or acetyl-coenzyme A. It's a 2-carbon molecule that catalyzes the production of your ATP. And within the Krebs cycle, there's a few things that are made. There's 10 NADHs, which I haven't really talked about these before, but it's similar to the NADPH that's present in photosynthesis. And you produce 2 H2s, and you produce 2 ATP here as well. Okay? So that's what you get from the Krebs cycle. Just like the Kelvin cycle, it's a process of, it's a bunch of redox reactions that happen in a cycle, and each time the cycle goes through, you produce these things. So far we have a total of 4 ATP, or 4 net ATP that are produced. This isn't enough for us to survive. So what happens next is you go into something known as the ETC, or the electron transport chain. Subscribe to me so you guys can see some cool videos doing science and experiments and maybe learning something new. Thanks!